Hi creator again, welcome to Creator Month. Today we're diving into something super practical, your website. Because let's be honest, if someone Googles you and lands on an old, confusing, or empty page, they're not going to convert. But if your site is simple, it's clear, and confidence building, you're instantly more trustworthy and bookable. And yes, you can build that yourself with today's training. Why your website matters even if you're just starting. You don't need a full blown website with 10 pages, but you do need a home online that says who you help, what you offer, how they can get started. And Kajabi makes it so easy, no code or designer needed. So people will search for you. Your Instagram bio won't say everything about you. Having a website builds trust or breaks it, and it's going to turn your visitors into clients. This is what I want you to do first. It's easy, it's simple. You can do this week and start making money if people find you online. Let me introduce to you the one-page website strategy. This layout works beautifully if you're a coach that's just launching, if you're a therapist with one clear service, if you're a creator and have a lead magnet, if you're a mentor promoting a workshop. One page, one clear path, that's what converts. First, we're going to add a header, who you help and what you help them achieve. Then a bit about you, why this matters to you, a short intro about you. Then you pitch your offer, what you sell, how it works, social proof if you have testimonials, client wins, logos that you can share here, and a call to action. Book a call, join my list, or buy now. One page, one clear path. Let's generate conversion. Now, let's do a live demo on Kajabi. If you don't have a Kajabi account yet, sign up at mariataveras.com/Kajabi99 for their creator plan promo. 3 months of Kajabi for only $99. And I'm going to hook you with exclusive done for you bonuses. My team will help you build your one-page website, your first course up to 10 lessons, and your basic sales funnel. Ready to start making money. Now, let's go inside Kajabi. I'm going to share my screen. And we are here in a demo account. This is the dashboard. This is how it's going to look for you. If you sign up to Kajabi, maybe you won't see this, but this is your full dashboard. We will directly go to websites and click on design. I had already chosen a template. So if it's your first time, you will have to choose a template before you start creating. This is how the template store looks. And you can choose any template that you feel works for your business, but you can customize all fonts, colors, images, content to your own business. So I'm going to click here on, for example, this one, reach. Let's add it to my saved templates just so you understand how you're going to do this. If you already had a theme or if you're starting from scratch, choose one. And now, if you had one, your new template will be on saved templates. So if you purchased one, you would click upload a template. Or if I'm gifting you or you're purchasing from me one template, then this is where you upload them. For websites, for landing pages, it's separate. Now I'm going to click on activate, set to live. Maybe yours, since you didn't have a template, you don't have to do this. And let's click customize. So the first thing I like to do when we're inside Kajabi is settings, because this is where we're going to define our style guide. If I click on settings, I click on favicon. First, I should add my favicon, which is a symbol that represents your brand. For example, if I go to my agency, to my school, my Kajabi school, and then my personal website, you see there's a little like brand icon there. That's your favicon. It helps people to identify inside browsers your brand. Now let's go back. Imagine I added a favicon here. Then for style guide, you can define the background color of this full page. You can even add a background image if you want. And what are the colors? For now, everything here is black, but I can definitely change the look and feel. So if my primary color instead of black would be gray, for example, or even I like this brown, so I'm going to use brown just for this example, and that automatically things start changing on my template. And the buttons background colors, for example, for now we can, let's see if we use the same color, how that would look. And if they are outlined, I'm going to click on solid. So then instead of being outlined, my call to actions are solid color. There, that you start seeing the change. If I want, instead of dark fonts, I can use a darker brown and try a white font to see how that would look. I'm just trying colors. I had no plan on how I'm going to do this, so I'm doing this live with you. I think I might prefer completely black buttons for this example. And now that we have that, let's go down. Buttons, if you want a radius or if you want a completely 90-degree angle on each corner, you can remove the radius or add just a bit if you prefer. These settings apply to all your full website, but each call to action button, you can go directly to them and click and change the color on one specific button as well if you want. Now, we have to choose our fonts. So what's the body font we're going to choose? Here it has Roboto and Railway for now, which looks pretty well. But let's say your body font, you want to use Poppins. And you want your heading font to be Playfair Display. Let's click save. And look how different it starts feeling. Let's try Nonito to see how that would look. Just to play around. And you can play around with your fonts. I think I prefer the other one. So then we have the font colors. My heading font, I said I would be using this one. Let's change it here. Let's see how it looks when I change the heading font colors. Starts looking different. The body font, I'll just use complete black. And if you will have secondary body font colors, I'll use a darker brown. Then you can choose the font sizes for mobile and desktop. Let's go back. And I want to explain something to you. Kajabi divides websites into, every URL could be a landing page or a website page. What's the difference? Landing pages have one specific goal. So each of these pages have one objective. There's no menu, there's no distraction, one goal. Website pages bring system pages inside. Look, here it says system. So you have the home page. That's the one we're already customizing. But you have to come in and modify your thank you page, your store page, your member directory, your login page, library. Maybe we won't have time to do all of them together, but we will focus on the one-page website. But please don't forget to modify all that system content so you decide how your login page, your library page, your store page, your blog page will look and will feel aesthetically. So let's go back to customize. I wanted to explain this because if I click here, then I don't have to go back. I can change to any system pages right inside the editor. So now we already did settings. We have design tools here if I want to show a guide or a grid on how, like, every website has 12 columns, so I can see the 12 columns there and so on. I'm going to remove this. I'll leave the guides if you want to see the difference between section and blocks so you understand how design works in Kajabi. If you have any custom code, you can add it here. If you want to change or translate because your website will be in a different language, the password recovery information, password resets information to your own language, you can do that. And if you want to disable member directory or announcement pages as well. Let's go back. And now we have our header. In your header, you can enable a cart if you're going to have multiple products. If I want to have a sticky header, that means that when I scroll down, I still can see my header. I can choose it here. Let's preview for you to see this. You see, it scrolls with me. That's a sticky header. If I want to change the background color, I can also do that. For example, this color that I was using for this purpose of this example. Oh, that's the sticky only. I'm sorry. So look, there we have the sticky. I don't like that at all, but I just wanted to explain it to you. If you want an overlay where there's no background color, you can see there, that's an overlay. It removes the background color. I'm going to click the normal one. And now you can add different content to this header. A call to action, a drop-down menu if you want, a hello bar, for example, for a call to action on top. You can add your logo, a menu, social icons, or the user menu. That's where people log in. So if I go back, let's just use what this template brought. We have the logo. Right now it's a text logo, so here would be the name of your brand. Oh, your logo goes here. Or you can upload an image. Just make sure it's a PNG image, a transparent background image. And in the image, you can put your brand name and the width if you want it to be bigger or smaller. That's with your logo, the alignment as well. And then we have the menu. Which menu do you want to choose? You can click on edit your link list and you can change your complete menu here. If you want, for example, an exclusive members menu inside your courses, you can create it as well. For now, I'm not going to modify menu. Just so you see, I opened it here and this is how you decide. You can add, for example, new menu. And you can add products, pages, or links. And you would choose which menu you want. Then we have here the user menu, and you can translate the login, logout settings, and so on. Then we have a call to action. If you want to send people to book a call, for example, it would be my link to book a call. And finally, the hello bar, if I want to keep it or change the content, I would change the text, the colors, and the call to action. For example, if I would choose a dark background, that's how it would look. Now let's go back. And how does Kajabi work? Basically, you add different sections. You see here it says section. So that's another section. And inside your sections, you have contents into blocks. You have one block. This is about 10 width block. Then you have like 9 or 8 width block here. And you can add different contents. Here you can see text in general, hero forms with a countdown, with a form, with an image, 3 featured cards, carousels, opt-in forms in different ways, multi-video launch if you want, the Jeff Walker launch formula, text and image, audio, video, galleries, embed a YouTube video, your offers, your pricing cards, the coaching scheduling widget. Yes, if you're a coach, you can do one-on-one or group coaching sessions inside Kajabi. Find my training on that. Your frequent asked questions, testimonials, blog, etc., etc., etc. This year, Kajabi adds save sections. So now if you design something, you save the section and you can reuse it without having to redesign from scratch every time. I'm going to go back and now we're going to modify the content on what I recommend you can add. So your homepage, as I said before, acts as your storefront. It's the first thing people see when they find you. It should give a sense of what you offer and then guide the reader to other sections. So let's imagine, first of all, we want here the main image or hero section. The template brought this, but I'm going to create from scratch a hero section so you understand the idea. For example, this would be a hero. Let's add a hero with image. There it is. Add. And now I can add here an eye-catching headline, for example, or your elevator pitch if you want. And then I can have in the background a video background instead of an image. Could also look stunning in your design. I'm just giving you ideas in general. So you would have your eye-catching headline. You can also add a sub-headline if you want. Then your elevator pitch. Elevator pitch with 1 to 2 sentences and a call to action. Let's imagine that I'm going to use an image here, and if you have Adobe stock, you can sign in and use images from there or upload your own file or generate images with AI. I'm going to start from Adobe stock so you can see this example to add a background image or video if I want. Let's say this is for a coach. I'll just write coach here. And I'm going to add an image. Click save. And now there I have a background image. I'm going to choose the color I've been using to work with my background here. I'm going to add some opacity or transparency. I'm going to darken it so that people can actually read my content. And I can add an image here that could usually be like an image that represents my ideal client, or an image of me, your image as a coach, as a therapist, as a business mentor, whatever you want. So you have to define the hero section background or video you want to use and which image in case you're going to use one you can add it here, and your clear call to action with define from now what's the button text you want to use and the button link. Let's click save. And before we only had this. Now if I move my section to the top, I didn't want to use the content that the template gave me in this first section because I wanted to show you that you can create your own ideas. So there it is, and I'm going to preview again for you to see this. There, so it starts changing a bit. You can add animation if you want, time reveal based on a date. If I want this text, for example, to be animated, I can say it's going to fade in from the left, no delay, and it will have 1 second animation. Let's preview this just for you to see. And that's the animation. So you just have to be creative. After we have our hero section, let me start hiding stuff here. We can have a lead magnet. Basically, you want here for people to download or sign up to a free gift, a valuable offer, irresistible offer that is like the first step for them to solve their pain or get closer to their desire. And then you will add value through an email sequence and pitch your offer. It's the best way to sell naturally. And I have trainings on email marketing and the lead magnet if you have to watch them. So here you, as I said, you will invite your audience to download something free to start building a connection with them. And you will definitely have to choose a form. If you haven't created one, you come here, edit forms, and build a forms from scratch. If you don't understand forms, go back to my lead magnet training or freebie. I'm going to choose any form, and I could choose the thank you page that I have created for this purposes. If I had one, I'm just going to choose something until you understand what I'm doing. So I have my text, I have my form, and I can add some text here if I want. So any opt-in details, I can change the button if I want, and so on and so forth. You can even add an image if you had one. For example, if I add an image here, to remember I said the width of a website is 12 columns. So that's how you play with the blocks inside your sections based on 12. The limit is 12 columns. So for example, this image, let's see if I have an example there, a freebie. I can add it, I'll move it up so it's the first thing in my blocks. If this is 1 column width, then I can have, this is my 4 column, and 8 and 4 is 12, so I have to subtract at least 1 column so that everything fits in. This looks very small, so I'm going to go down to desktop layout. I'm going to center the alignment and make sure I flush it. I think I can make this even bigger. And this get the guide, I'll just add a call to action button that says download now so that everything works. I don't like that they're all like aligned to the bottom, so I'm going to click desktop layout and click the vertical alignment to be in the center. And you see there's a lot of space maybe on top and on the bottom. This padding, I can change it right here. So don't mind those small details. Don't try to be perfect. Just launch your sites and then improve it. For now, I really want you to focus on the copy, on the one-page strategy for you to start selling online. People will come in because of your funnels, not because of your website. They can find your website while they're searching on Google. So that's why I want you to have a website under your domain. So let's say we have that opt-in form. Then we have this brought me a divider. I'm going to remove it. And now we can add a new section. This new section could be, for example, this was my hero section. Then I have my lead magnet. And even though here it says about, I like it but to add, or let me see, because I want to work from scratch now. This about, I'll put it lower and bring in these features because I like how it looks. And let's say, because I want to contrast between these two colors, I will try to add a very light background color, but just so to divide the sections, something like that. I'm just playing around. I had no plan. I'm coming with everything up while we're live. And this little section, I do want to add some padding there. Now, what can I do here? It says resources for every stage of your journey. I love the title. Basically, you can add here featured products or services or who you work with and add your 3 ideal clients if you had them, whichever you prefer between those two. And then you can add, if it's featured products or services, for example, I love this example, online courses, one-on-one coaching, do-it-yourself guides. You can add whatever you want here. It's basically your featured blocks, headings, a small paragraph that explains, and a call to action. Each call to action should take people to a sales funnel or to a checkout page. But where can they actually purchase? That's very important. Next, we can add a section that talks about how it works, your service, your program, whatever you're offering, how it works. And for that, we can actually use this idea of the about, a text and image, or I can definitely go back down to add a section and find text and image, for example, together. But since I like the layout this one has, I'm going to duplicate this one. And now I can work with this one. I'm going to swap image and text here. And here we can add how it works. What's the process of working with you? Basically, you can share an overview of your options or main product, emphasize something significant for your business. There we go. You can talk about anything, as I said. It could be a program, a service, a therapy, a membership, your new book, a keynote, whatever you want. Share the timing. It could have a title, a subtitle, and obviously the content. If you want a call to action to your sales page, you can also include that. So let's go back, and this was how it works. Let's move this up. Perfect. And now we can add some social proof. Let's see. For this example, the template already had some social proof quotes. They don't look bad at all. However, I want to show you how else you can do this. So if I click testimonial here, I have 1, 2, or 3. I can obviously duplicate and add more. For example, in my 12 columns, I can have 4 if I want. So I just wanted to show you this example because you can add your social proof, creating your own section. You can add a title. Let's say this will be 12 columns, or leave it at 7, but come down to desktop and say, place this block on its own row so it doesn't go besides the next feature column. And let's say we can add a title, what my students or clients are saying. If you want to add some more text, we will align this to the center, and we can definitely add a picture of each of these clients. For example, if you come to my own website, I think I have here, you see the image and then the testimonial of the client. However, another idea is if you don't have the profile picture for each one of your, let's say, client or student, you can always find an example, a quote symbol as an image and customize it to your colors if you want, and then add that as a quote. For example, this one, let's say file type PNG to see if I get one that has no background image like that one. So I'm going to save this just for this example. Save. And I'm going to add it right here, upload my file, quote. I'm going to remove the areas I don't need. And I'm going to click save. I'm not sure it's centered. upload my file, and now instead of having the profile picture, since I'm already using black, that works for me. I'm adding it to all of them. However, if you don't want to add it to all of them, you modify it completely, your first block, and then duplicate that same one. So obviously this is social proof. You need social proof, you need lots of it. And it's like social proof is the quickest way to grow your business. Let's see this, we will add here. Rename this to social proof. And I'm going to move it upward to keep up with the order I'm showing you. How it works, I have my features, I have my lead magnets, I have my features, then I have how it works, then I have my social proof, and I want to add some background color as well here, so that, let me use this same color, because I like to have a transition in between sections. Not that you have to do that, but for the purpose of my example, I'll do it. There we have it. Next, we want to talk about you, and we will just stay with the about section that this theme included. Here it is, about section. It has a text, it has an image, so here it will be about you or about your business. And obviously a brief bio section that generates curiosity. People want to know who's behind the brand. The goal here is to tell your visitors what you do, how you help, and why you're a better choice than their competitors. So in this paragraph, or in this section, I want you to define what you do, make people easy to find you online, who your target audience is or who you help, and explain how your product or service solves a problem. You can even use your elevator pitch here, that it would be I or we help, who you help, to what you help them with, so they can, what's the result they want to achieve, even if or without their obstacles, challenges, objections, etc. That's an idea. And if you realize, sometimes I edit here, sometimes I edit here, like you can do both with Kajabi, all right? And define which will be your business portrait. Then I'm gonna hide all of this, or even delete it, because I won't use it. And I love this part of this template where it shows some more products or services. Remember, we did the full 3 feature section, but I love how this one shows, like, get started with one of my 6-week courses, and then it shows your products and services. You can come in and edit this thing. Same thing if your template has it. Basically, it's a text and image section, so you understand what it has there. I'm going to hide them to keep up with our simple 1-page strategy. And finally, as your about page, we want to add a final call to action. So this will be my final call to action, or lead magnet opt-in. And obviously you can include any resource, motivate people, invite them to register to your newsletter, to your blog, whatever you want to do. And you can add a title, add a subtitle, and a form. Let's say we have here the default form for a newsletter. And I would completely remove this unless you want to include your own portrait and your signature. I'll remove this part. And for the footer, we can define the color if we want, the copyright text. If you want to hide the Powered by Kajabi, you can always just use the same background color you have, and that's it. We have a logo here. We said it would be text, and we added your logo, or add an image if you want. Define the menu you want to include on the footer as well if you want to use your social icons, and change the copyright here would be your brand. I just added that example if you want. So that's basically our one-page strategy. Remember, you have to come in and change all the system pages. And something I love about Kajabi, you can see how it might work on desktop and mobile, and you can decide if one section will appear on mobile or not. For example, this section looked good aligned to the left on desktop, but if I want centered for mobile, then I could click my section, come to mobile layout and click, oh, I want it to be centered, aligned to the center. Let's say I don't want to include this image only on mobile. I can come down to mobile and click hide the block. So that's how you play with what people will see on desktop and on mobile. Let's see if there's anything else I want to show you. Look, I had deleted these testimonials, but these are the mobile versions. So I can come in, like always double check that you don't have content that you don't want to keep on your mobile version, because you can definitely hide or show depending on which one you're using. Now, what else can you do? For example, I could export this if I want, and if you're watching this and you want this, the same template, this structure I created, I can export it and share it with you for you to upload if you use my affiliate link, mariataveras.com/Kajabi99. However, for this exclusive done for you bonus, I'll build it with my team for you only during this promo. What else do I want to show you? We chose a template, we added brand colors, a logo, a headline, we highlighted the main offer, we added a testimonial, and we connected it with the call to action. How can you make your website feel more like you? A clear photo, no blurry selfies, write like you're talking to a friend, make people feel like they're talking to you. Avoid the industry jargon and make your next step obvious. What do you want people to do? For example, you're a health coach, a nutritionist. You can use, I help busy moms simplify their meals without stress. Boom, that's clear, that's specific, no fluff. Her ideal clients is moms, and they might be very busy because they don't want to deal with the meals and being stressed. Let your site reflect your tone, your energy, and your transformation that you provide. All right. So if you haven't signed up to Kajabi yet, the time is right and the price is perfect. 3 months for only $99. I only have 2 spots available for my done for you. I started at 15, and that will include access to my Kajabi Kickstart course. My team will build your first course up to 10 lessons, your basic sales funnels, and design your one-page website. All right. So remember, please, you don't need a full website. You need a focused one. One page is enough to generate conversions. Clarity will beat complexity every time. So your goal is not to impress. You should impress, but it's to connect. When your message is clear, the design can be so simple. Start today, start now. You can improve on the way, but start. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you during our next training, creating a membership. All right. So I'll see you next Monday. How to generate recurring revenue with your own membership. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for being here.